Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part 2 of my running series. Part 1 will be linked in the description box below, and that was all about my running story, how I went from couch to 5k in a month, and I also talk about my favorite running apps and running clothes. And in this video today I'm going to talk about my running motivation. What keeps me going on days when I just don't feel like going out for a run, and also what keeps me going during the run when I'm feeling really tired and I just want to take a break and stop and walk for a little bit. I've been running for almost 3 months now, pretty much every day apart from a few days here and there. I'm not too strict with myself, but I do try and keep up the running as much as possible because it does me so good physically, mentally, and it's my little bit of me time. It's something I enjoy doing. And yeah, I usually run in the evenings, for those of you wondering how I find the time to do it with 2 young children. So I put the kids to bed and then I go for a run whilst my husband is at home with them. So that's how I find time to fit in my runs. And yeah, today I want to talk about motivation. Before I get on with my own tips, I'd love for you guys to leave your own personal tips in the comments below. I know that this is like a personal journey for everyone. Running is very, very personal. The way that you like to do it, the amount of runs that you do in a month or in a week, it's very, very personal. But I feel like motivational tips are almost universal in that we always need that little bit of motivation to get us out of the door. So please leave on the comments below any motivation or tips that you have for anyone who is lacking in motivation. So yeah, let's get straight to the video. I'm going to start talking about that initial motivation to actually get up and go for a run. It's so hard, isn't it, when you've had a really long, busy day and you're just starting to feel like you can settle down for the evening, or if you have kids like me and you've got to do the whole bedtime routine, and by the time the kids are asleep, you're absolutely knackered. It is really hard to find the motivation to think, now I'm going to go and put my body in a lot more sort of physical stress, and I'm not going to sit down with a cup of tea just yet. It is really mentally hard. And one thing I find that really helps me is think about what I would be doing in 20 minutes time. If I go for a run, in 20 minutes I'll be back. I'll be feeling really refreshed and really just like motivated and proud of myself. If I don't go for a run, I'll probably still be scrolling through Instagram for 20 minutes. 20 minutes goes by so quickly when you're sitting doing nothing. One evening when I went for a run and came back, my husband said that he didn't even know I had gone and he didn't even feel like time had gone past. And that's how much time we can actually waste. So I just try and think about useful time and time wasted, and because it's only 20 odd minutes that I do, I don't run for a long period of time. I don't feel like it's going to take up too much of my evening, and it's just that little bit of, if I go for a run now, after my run and my shower, I can settle down for the evening and feel so much better for it. So that's my first tip, is try and think about the time that you are actually putting to good use when you're going for a run, instead of the time that you're wasting when you don't go for a run. Obviously, there will be times when you just want to relax and you don't want to go for a run, and that's normal. That I have those days as well. But when I feel like I'm just lacking a little bit of motivation, that's the first thing I try and think about. The second thing that motivates me to actually go for a run is to think about that sense of achievement after the run. And when I think about how I feel after I go for a run, that gives me such a boost to get up, get dressed, and not think too much about it. So that is the second thing that motivates me. The third thing that really motivates me is the fact that I don't need any childcare or transportation to go for a run. I don't drive here in the UK, so going to the gym for me sometimes was a little bit of a hassle because I had to get a taxi, which ended up being a little bit too expensive to do it really often, or I had to get lifts all the time and also find people to leave my children with during the day. If you have a partner, a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, it's so much easier to just go for a run in the evening. Your partner is likely to be at home and you'll just be able to go, come back, and it will be as if nothing happened. And yeah, that's what I do. Obviously, if your circumstances are different, then that won't be as much of a motivation for you, but that's definitely motivation for me. The next thing is to not put any pressure on myself to run any kind of distance for any length of time, I simply just get out of the door and I run. However long, however much, I do it and I feel good about it. If I put pressure on, I'm going to do a 5K today or I'm going to do a 3K today, I feel like I don't want to go for a run because I don't want to disappoint myself, and if I don't do that, then I will feel horrible about it. So I take it one step at a time. Don't put any pressure on myself. Sometimes I go really slow, like a very light jog, and other times I go faster, but I try not to put any pressure on myself. Even when I'm running with other people, with a friend, I just feel like if I put pressure on it and try and keep up and feel as fit as my friends, then I'm just not gonna wanna go for a run. So yeah, I don't put any pressure on myself. And that's how I think I achieved the couch to 5K in a month. It's just that every time I went out of the door, I was just enjoying it. I was running because I was enjoying it, not because I was trying to achieve something. I didn't start with a goal of 5K. It was something that happened because I was enjoying what I was doing. My next motivation is the fact that running is my little bit of me time. And I feel like it's extra special me time because me time out of the house feels even better, especially if, like me, you work from home. And so some days I spend the entire day at home, either working, cleaning, tidying, looking after the children, cooking, and even if I have me time at home, it still doesn't feel that relaxing. And running just feels like I'm getting out of the house. This is my time for me to focus on myself. I'm doing this for me. I can think about what I want to think about. I can listen to whatever music I want to listen to. So yeah, that thought when I'm at home and I feel like, should I go for a run or not? And thinking about that me time, that peace of mind, that headspace just makes me want to get up and go. The next thing that gets me out of the door to go for a run really quickly is very shallow, and it's just having new running clothes. I feel like it's like makeup. When you buy new makeup, you just want to do your makeup and use the new makeup and see how it goes. It's the same for me with running clothes. Whenever I buy something new, I want to go for a run to wear it and try it and see if I like it. Obviously, that's not sustainable because you're not going to have something new to wear every time you go for a run. But if you feel like you're coming into a tough week, I feel like the first week of running, you usually have a lot of motivation. It's the second week onwards that you feel like giving up. So if you have any special like new clothes that you've bought, save it until the second week when you feel like you might need a little bit of extra motivation. I've actually bought some new running clothes that I'm saving for a day when I don't feel motivated to wear that, because I know at the moment I've got loads of motivation. I want to go for a run tonight and the night after, and I'm just feeling really inspired. So I'm not going to wear those clothes because I know that that's a little bit of extra, nudge for me to get out of the door and go for a run. The next thing that really motivates me is watching my body take a nicer shape and looking more toned. And the reason why I included this in my motivation things is because sometimes, like I've put the kids to bed and I'm getting changed and getting into my comfies, in my pajamas or whatever. If I stop and look in the mirror and I see that my body is looking nicer, that I'm happier with how it's looking, I'm more likely to, instead of putting my pajamas, putting my running clothes and go for a run, because I just feel like I want to keep that progress going. So that is one thing that definitely motivates me. A lot of the times I'm just like quickly getting into my pajamas and then I catch a glimpse of my body and I'm like, oh yeah, my legs are looking more toned. Maybe I should go for a run. And that really gets me out of the house. And the last thing that really gives me a kick up the bum to go for a run is my Nike running app and hitting the next milestones on the app. A couple of weeks ago, I was about to hit 100K, and that day I had a really busy, long day, and the kids didn't go to bed until about 9 o'clock or something ridiculous like that. But I was so determined to reach that 100K total, obviously not in a day, but like total amount of kilometers that I'd run. that I just decided I'm going to reach that target today. And I went for a run, even though it was really late. I went for a short run, got back and felt like, yes, I've done it. So that really got me out of the house. And a lot of the times, just by looking to see at my progress, see how far I've got to go until my next milestone. So yeah, if you don't have the Nike app, I'll leave it linked below. It's really, really good. I use it on my Apple Watch and I find it really good, really responsive, and that's how I keep track of all my runs. And now I'm going to talk about my motivation to keep running when I'm tired or when I'm bored or when I'm just like, I just want to stop and no one will know. The road won't tell anyone my secrets. My first 2 runs, and I talk about that in my part 1 video, I actually power walked for a few seconds of it because I was so tired and I just wanted to power walk to kind of catch my breath. But now I feel the exact same tiredness sometimes, but I just don't give in and I don't power walk anymore. And these things that I'll tell you now, they definitely help me stay on track and keep running. So the first thing that will keep me going through the run is music. It has to be music that's within the same pace that I'm running. So I tend to go for more upbeat songs, and I have a running playlist. And it was like in the beginning, I did this whole playlist of songs that I loved. And then I had like Backstreet Boys songs in there. I had like slow ballads and stuff that I loved. But it was just not keeping me going because it wasn't keeping my pace up. And then I took all these songs out and just kept songs that were really upbeat and that matched my speed and my motivation. And I have a few songs that I always go back to when I'm in the middle of running and I feel like I'm getting so tired and so bored, and I try and run to the beat of these songs. And it becomes a little bit of a challenge and a little bit of like, you know, just fun, and it actually keeps me going. So I'll leave links below my running playlist on Spotify if you want to check it out. There's also a playlist that I discovered yesterday when I was going for my run called Latin Cardio on Spotify. It is amazing. I don't know any of the songs there, but it's so good and so catchy and easy to kind of run to and keep your mind going. So yeah, definitely music that keeps me motivated to run, not just any odd music. It has to be upbeat and kind of with a good rhythm to keep me going. The next thing that keeps me going is bumping into other people running as well. And even if I don't know them, it's just that unspoken thing that like we're telling each other, just keep going, you're doing really well. So when I'm running and it's like really deserted and all of a sudden a runner comes from nowhere and we kind of like greet each other, it's just that little bit of extra, yeah, let's keep going kind of thing. Right, this next tip is probably the most important tip out of all the tips that I've given you today. And it's to take 1K at a time and not put pressure on achieving a certain number of kilometers and to, you know, like run 7 kilometers today or 5 kilometers today. This is what works for me. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. You're not competing against anyone. You're doing that for your own personal benefits and for yourself. And finally, the last thing that really keeps me going whilst I'm running is knowing that I'm doing something that I never thought I would be able to do. I was never a runner. I've never liked or enjoyed running. So when I'm in the middle of a run and feeling really tired, I think about this is something that a few months ago I could never think that I'd be able to do. And instantly that gives me a boost to keep going. It's kind of my own way of feeling proud of myself and wanting to make myself proud at the same time. So this is it. This is how I motivate myself to go for a run and to keep running. I hope you guys found this video interesting or helpful. Again, if you have any tips of your own, please leave them on the comments below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you want to see more about my running journey and to just motivate each other. I love hearing from you guys when you say that I have inspired you to start running. So let's keep motivating each other and we can do this. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. I have new videos going live every week on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 7 p.m. So please do come back to see more videos from me, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!